Hey YouTube, this is Tariq Lotfi here, and today we're going to make a video about changing the timing chain in M112 engines, or R112, whatever you call it. It's a Mercedes-Benz E320 station wagon 2001, and I love this car very much, and I decided to make some preventive maintenance, how to keep it running for longer. So I decided that I'm going to change the timing chain. And I saw a Russian video on YouTube that they changing the timing chain through pulling it inside the engine without have to break the engine apart. Unfortunately, I messed it up as usual. Okay, the whole problem started when I grinded the tooth here, and I started to break this engine apart. I mean, break this chain apart so I can feed the new timing chain through this procedure all the way here down, so without have to do any of this or breaking the engine apart. The whole problem is that when I started doing this, I used a zip tie to secure these links that I break from here to here. The zip tie unfortunately was bad, and it didn't give me any time. As soon as I take this link, break it, boom, everything did like this, and of course I lost the timing or the synchronization of the whole process. So I found myself in front of have to break the engine apart or take the engine out of the car with the transmission, because it's easier to do that, to change the timing chain. I don't have that much of tools. I'm doing do-it-yourself job, and I try to do everything to find somehow to break the engine, to change the timing chain inside the car while the engine actually mounted without having to take it off. And I cannot find any videos that help me doing this. Everybody has to take the engine outside. Some of them taking it by itself, some of them taking it with the transmission because it's easier. Anyway, so I was able to actually break the timing cover loose without having to take the whole engine apart. First thing you have to do is to take the bolts. You have to remove this valve cover, the left one, the right one. You have to remove the harmonic balancer. You have to remove the power steering pump and put it aside. You don't have to deattach any of these hoses and or lose any of the lubrication or the the lube inside it. You have to unmount the compressor, and you don't have to lose any of the refrigeration, because just put it aside here. Just get it out of the way. The biggest thing you have to do is to remove the harmonic balancer, or the vibrator damper, whatever you call it. In order to do that, that was a challenging thing. I don't want to buy an expensive tool for $60 to do that, so I get one of the old brake rotors like this, and I got 2 bolts from Lowe's for like $3, and then I actually weld it here, one here, one here, and I just used one of my old Harbor Freight cheap welders. This one I got for like $159 or something like that, and something like that. It was strong enough that I was able to weld this bolts here, and then I started to secure it with one of these tri-bars like this. Stop music. And after that, I was able to remove the harmonic balancer out from the car. Of course, I have to use a big ratchet and a 27 millimeter socket. I actually used an inch one, is 1 1/16 of an inch. I used this, so I was able to take the harmonic balancer. You don't need any pulling tools to remove this. Once you get the bolt loose, you just remove it. It's very easy. You don't have to pull it or nothing. It's very easy. Just remove it with your hand. After removing this, the harmonic balancer, I take as I said, the water pump. I take the thermostat assembly. I took the air pump that was here. Now, here's something tricky about the compressor, the air conditioning compressor. There's one bolt actually in the from behind. You have to reach it because you will not be able to remove the compressor without reaching behind and get this bolt. Is a very tiny space, very tiny place. This bolt from behind here, like in this, like very aggravating to reach to. So you have to it has like 2 bolts in the front here, or maybe 1 in the front, I don't remember, and 1 in the back. So you have to remove this in order to be able to remove the compressor. Another tool that you're gonna use to sit this valve cover, this camshaft, to sit in sink, you have to have something called a fork, and this fork actually works here. Let's see if I can show you that. This fork actually works here in this area to there's some kind of grooves here or some kind of things that will fit. Actually, I don't want to buy this either to align the heads. The way it was designed, that these things is spring loaded, you know, the rocker arms and all this valve springs and stuff. So both of them, when this one is in a wrist like condition, this one is spring loaded, and when this one is wrist condition, this one is spring loaded. So you cannot actually keep both of them at the same time. So I end up removing this rocker arm. I have to take all these bolts here, all these bolts, I just lift the camshaft that got nothing to do with the rocker arm, and of course it's not spring loaded because I removed this, so I can actually control this. So I set this one in rest position or situation where it's not spring loaded here, and this one of course in the wrist position too, because I removed this rocker arm. Now let's go to the alignment situation. Here you have 4 copper plates. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if you can see it or not. Oh yeah, you see it here in the crankshaft in the bottom. The way these things are aligned is very easy. I thought it's very complicated, but it's not. Let's start with the left one, or maybe the right one, the passenger side anyway. You see an R sign here for right. Here an R, it's upside down, and here's L here, and it's actually colored, or you know, it's the same color of the copper plates. It's a goldish color, but don't be tricked, because there's another L here too, another L. So it looks like both of them has R and L, because you can put this sprocket. You can put this sprocket here and put this sprocket here. So you have to align this one, the passenger side with the R, the driver side with the L. And after you do that, you have to align the balancer too. You see there's a sign here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, it's like the contrast or the brightness in the your phone or your like TV. It's the bright, like a sunshine here, that aligned with the copper plate. And at the same time, there's a groove here in the balancer. This groove has to be perfectly aligned with this sign here, this arrow here I'm talking about. This arrow here has to be aligned with this groove. Okay, after you do that, you have to go under the car. When you go under the car, you will see the copper plate here that we were talking about. It has to be perfectly aligned with the groove here of the crankshaft. So it has to be vertically all the way down. This mark here, or the K stock, whatever you call it, go all the way down to the copper plate. So the copper plate, the one with the crankshaft, vertically with the keystock, vertically with the sign mark I told you here. Now we're done with here, and we're done with here. We're done with here. You don't have to get this. You don't have to get these forks to keep this thing. All what you need to do is to remove this rocker arms, so this thing will be free. After you put this chain, you have to test it. And very good trick to do: don't ever try to revolve it without simulate the tension on the tensioner here, because I did that and I jumped the teeth again. I have to remove it, everything again. So I get one, excuse me, I get one of this like napkins, and I just shove it here under the tensioner. It work as the timing chain tensioner temporary, because the timing chain tensioner assembly is in the timing case cover, so I cannot put my timing chain tensioner here without putting the cover. So I just simulated that by putting something here to keep this timing chain tension. And you have to turn a 14 complete revolutions, starting from here all the way the crankshaft back again. It's 1 revolution, so you have to do a 14 revolutions in order to see everything come back again where it was. Everything come back again where it was. If you did that completely, and after 14 revolutions everything come back where it started with, you successfully did this job. Now go back to breaking the timing case without removing the engine. That was a challenge here. After removing all the bolts and everything, actually the timing cover has a 4 edges. One here with the lower oil pan assembly. The oil pan assembly is actually 2 parts, a lower part and upper part. The lower part is a small part, and that is easy to remove comparing to the upper part. The challenge is to actually removing the timing chain without having to remove the upper. I cannot find the oil pan here. Anyway, so what I end up doing is, after I remove all the bolts here, this bolts here, and all these bolts that holding the timing case, I get under the car with a tri-bar, and I started to put the tri-bar inside here and try to wiggle it to break the timing case. I don't want to leave any scuff marks or make the surface not even, and take any chance by putting a screwdriver or anything between the timing chain case cover and the engine surface. So as you can see here, I put the tri-bar here between and start to wiggle it up and down to break it. And here too, I put the tri-bar here too, so I didn't have to touch the surface. So surface is very perfect clean now, so I'm ready to assemble things are. So now you don't have to remove the whole engine from the car, or to take the whole oil pan, or to break the transmission, whatever. So I think it's going to work. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna put it back and come up with you with part 2. One more thing before I leave: when you put this master link, you have to rivet it, and in order to rivet it, you have to use a riveter. You see here, it's riveted here. It's not perfectly round in order to keep it in the position. Riveting tool is around $130. That was another challenge. So I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a motorcycle chain breaker, something cheap for like 15 bucks or something. And here's the breaker. As I told you before, I was able to break it by grinding it, and with a screwdriver I broke this master link. Now it's time to rivet it. Here how I riveted it. See, it's not perfectly like the factory one, but it's not bad too. I did this one and this one. I end up getting this chain breaker that is coming without this bolt here. This bolt here, something I made. Oops, sorry. Of course, you have to remove the the fan here, the coolant fan, so you can have a clearance here. Anyway, so I put this bolt, I believe it's like 17 millimeter, and I have to grind it from one side. So when I tighten it to make the head of this master link expand, why I did this bolt here? Because here I don't have that much of clearance to allow me, see, I have to, because there's a kind of like rubber or plastic side of this bracket here that I don't want to mess up. So I cut the edge of this bolt to be flat, so it will rest here, and that will allow me from riveting this chain. I'm trying to go around buying a lot of tools because I'm gonna use it for one-time job. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna put this thing together. Hopefully it will run, and if it runs, I will just update you with the news. If not, just I did what I should do. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye.